Hey everybody, doing another TV show review, and it's something I've been sitting on for a while, but I wanted to wait until October. It's technically September 30th, but I want to jump on it anyway. Of reviewing the 3 seasons of Danny Phantom for the month of October, starting with in this video season 1. It's probably like the longest season, 20 episodes. Next season is 17. I think the last season is like 12, something like that. So I should get through them fairly quickly. Should just be long enough for me to get binge watch them and then uh, get a review up and running. Now, this is like a Nickelodeon show, one of the most beloved Nickelodeon shows, created by Butch Hartman, same person created like Fairly Odd Parents, another great show. Uh, I didn't want to subscribe to Paramount Plus because that streaming service, like I really don't believe in it. Their marketing sucks. The way they have everything set up is terrible. The way they got what they're doing with their classic Nickelodeon shows is like half-assed at best. I wasn't gonna waste money even for this review. So which is kind of rare in a long time. I haven't done this in a very long time. Go on the internet and find like uh free watches of this show so I can watch it, get through it, review it. Just little background information for you guys. But yeah, Danny Phantom. Basically, telling a story about this 14-year-old kid, Danny Phantom, whose parents are ghost hunters. Now, this is very Ghostbusters meets kind of Fantastic Four a bit, because you look at, I love the design of Danny's father, because clearly his jumpsuit, well, clearly both the mother and the father's jumpsuit is pretty roughly similar to like Fantastic Four ish, kind of like makeup, probably less advanced, but whatever. But the design, I think a lot of creators was having a lot of fun with the design of uh, Danny's father, because clearly he's a big dude, but he's very blocky. So certain movements looks like he's almost stretching a bit, and like there's like a Danny's bigger arch nemesis, Vlad Plasmius, like kind of like a play on Dracula, but also a play on Doctor Doom, because the way Danny gets his ghost powers is this disruption in this phantom portal, which is kind of like the portal phantom zone ish type of thing, or negative zone type of thing, that's also similar to like the containment unit in Ghostbusters, to where they this alternate dimension where the ghosts all go, or if they don't pass on, they get stuck here. This very limbo like place where different various ghosts inhabit, and there's a lot of interesting ghosts here that are very creative, very funny, and then it ranges from very funny, humorous kind of characters to a very serious like ghost that, if they play this cartoon very seriously, can be very kind of haunting. Uh, but Vlad Pasmy is also like a play on Doctor Doom, because, like Danny, uh, the prototype, because they both be college friends, Danny's parents and Vlad, uh, just like with the whole Reed and Sue situation, and a mistake with well, it wasn't a mistake on Reed's part. It was like a miscalculation on Doom's part, to where he's trying to make this machine to give him make a gateway into hell to try to retrieve his mother's soul from hell. And it caused like an explosion, which ruined, like just only left a scar on his face, but he's very vain, so he thinks it's like a horrific thing. But Vlad, it gave him like this little mistake, which is actually is Jack's fault, but it caused like not only give him ghost hybrid powers, but it gave him like ecto acne. It was very funny. He got like it was just like a horrific amount of uh, uh, acne all over his face, but it obviously cleared up, and he's like became like successful, rich. The two things his money could not buy his because he had like a thing for Danny's mom, but like he feels like Jack stole it away from him. But he also loves the Green Bay Packers. He lives in Wisconsin, and he has all this Packers memorabilia in his house, but uh, he couldn't own the team. Like I said, it's like two things he really wish he had. Um, I love this character. He's voiced by Martin Mull, and I think like he was the perfect casting for this because he offers like a gravitas to it, but a threatening gravitas. And like Danny is one of the most powerful of Danny's adversaries. There's probably one a step above even Vlad, but we'll get to that in like the pretty sure the second season. I can't remember. I actually thought this was like I didn't realize it was 3 seasons. I thought it was like at least 4 because it seemed longer. But I'm pretty sure it's the second season where we get like a very unique villain, and typically that could have easily have been played as like a cliche, but it's done very well here. But we'll get to it when we get to it. But Vlad is the overarching nemesis here, at least in particular for season 1. Uh, but there's various other ghosts that Danny fights. And I love Danny's catchphrase, like "going ghost," and he get this little neon black, well, neon white ring that kind of transformed his outfit into like a black and white suit. Which by second season and third season, he has like I know how it might sound, but a DP on his chest, his emblem, a giant D with like a P, in the center to, make it his logo, Danny Phantom. Uh, and he has like glowing, and like the theme song is freaking amazing. This and another song by Amber McLean, which I'll get to, uh, is like, I love these two particular songs in this show. But the song is pretty much just letting you know how Danny got his powers. Uh, 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 Crap. I've been binge watching it for like an entire week, and I'm blanking on how like the theme song goes. Like, go and kiss him all, he's Danny Phantom. Go and kiss him all, he's Danny Phantom. He's got glowing right here. He got glowing white hair and glowing green eyes. No, he got snowy white hair and glowing green eyes. Uh, uh, his folks had just quit, so Danny took a look inside of it. Then he knew what he had to do. He got to stop all the ghosts that was coming through. It's all jumbled up, but you catch my drift. It was, a very good theme song. This and Fairly Odd Parents has great theme songs. But there's like various of ghosts that Danny fights that is like very unique. At least in particular for season 1, it's going to focus on. You got like, of course, like the box ghost, which is like the Curly Howard, of ghosts, where Danny can easily beat. He's a very level 1 type of a villain. But you also got the Lunch Lady ghost, which is the first ghost he fights in episode 1. And like, I'm pretty sure somebody did like, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of videos on YouTube, people doing like a fair bit of research on how these people turn, into spirits. But they couldn't find like all of them, and it's like, because I kind of wish Butch Hartman kind of explored that, because like I said, if this was like leaned in a little bit more with detailing, because they do give like backstories on how these people, not the specific death, but what their life was like, that you could take a guess at how they died. Like this lunch lady, you can imagine, man, because she's so dedicated to be a lunch lady and obsessed with giving the students as much protein as possible. She comes like this vengeful ghost, uh, who's obsessed with giving people uh, all these different types of meat byproducts, sausages, pork chops, steak, and hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that. And it's also like a B plot story with because Danny has these two close friends, Tucker and Sam. Sam is pretty much like the goth chick that everybody, including me, had like a crush on. Because I, growing up in the '90s, leading into the 2000s, goths, emos, grunge type of girls, I just got like a weakness for it. And Tucker, the African American best friend, who's like a nerdy kid into like not like nerdy like a cliche nerdy type of character, but he's like, yeah, he's like a tech geek, and he's cool, but it's like he's like kind of obsessed with you know uh bagging the coolest girls, got the coolest technology. He got a type of swagger to him, but uh he also likes meat and protein. And him and Sam get at it with each other because Sam just retroactively, because she's like a, how she put it, like a ultra vegan something or other. Uh, yeah, ultra recyclo vegetarianism. That's how she put it. Because it was like it's like one of those things that you have like today, where it's like people are something or other. They just pull out the ads just to make themselves stand out, which is kind of odd for a goth who doesn't want to conform to anything, uh, making something very unique among herself that she gets everybody involved in or whatever. It's just like it was like a whole thing between these two. But you got like the lunch lady, you got the box ghost. This is another guy. Uh, Skulker was pretty much kind of like Craven the Hunter from Marvel, but for Ghost. And he, the first couple of episodes uh, that had Skulker in season one was voiced by Matthew St. Patrick. But by the second half of the season, he was replaced by Kevin Michael Richardson, which don't understand why, because I like both. You know, uh, I like Kevin Michael Richardson, but like I really dig Matthew Patrick's take on the Skulker. Not so much with a baritone uh, with it as Kevin Michael Richardson typically gives uh, big characters he voices, because that's typically what Kevin Michael Richardson usually plays, like big dudes that would often have like big baritone voices, like his character in American Dad, the Principal Lewis. But he also voiced the Joker in The Batman, which he didn't do a bad job, and I don't necessarily hate the design of that Joker, but it could have easily been. That was his take on the Joker. He did fine, but it's like he would have been my first pick for the Joker. Uh, but anyway, there's also this Ghost Dragon, and this is like a this seems like a My Fair Lady type of girl, ghost girl, or like Maid Marian type of princess looking girl who had this necklace that was given to her by a mother who forbade her to do what like any young girl wants to do, hang out with her friends and do certain things, but she was so restricted. And like probably, like I said, like there's a lot of stuff you could lean into that, I guess it was a kid show, but I wish it was like further explained, at least, you know, maybe dumbed down or delivered in a way, because this, like many other cartoons that I grew up with, did not, unlike cartoons of today, at least maybe not all of them. There's some like Steven's Universe that people rave about. I haven't personally watched, but they consider it like very nuanced and you know uh, speak to like certain stuff of today. But by and large, it's like cartoons of today is pretty much like jingling keys in front of like, your kid until that gives you like like some peace for a minute. Whereas like cartoons that I grew up with, uh, like maybe a couple of generations behind me and maybe a generation ahead of me, seen this, uh, and it's like cartoons that did not treat us like idiots, if you catch my drift. And it's like Danny Phantom, for example, is like there are some stuff that you can infer. Like there's this ghost genie called Desiree who grants people's desires, but at a cost of it turning into their worst nightmare kind of situation. And they pushed it just far enough uh, to make it like okay, it can get pretty dark if it wants to. But I kind of wish they kind of explain a little further, or at least maybe in like a wiki or something. Like I said, there's probably YouTube channels, people who do deep dives into this, explaining some of the deaths. Like Desiree, you know, knew this sultan who granted her desires, and she thought she had a possible life in this extravagance with the sultan, but he was already married. She was exiled from the kingdom by the wife, and she died of a broken heart kind of situation. And I kind of wish you get more with some of these other ghosts, like Skulker. I imagine he died from maybe a hunting accident or something, from like hunting like a certain, because it's a big game and he keeps hunting for bigger game and bigger game to one. He became the prey to one of his, to these other predators, and he died that way. And he always had, with all the gadgets he has, I imagine he has, in his life he had like all like the top notch hunting gear as possible, that kind of thing. Like I really wish they kind of like had something like that to explore. Like yeah, he died uh, tragically by a hunting expedition. Maybe they didn't have to get into the gory details, but at least like an inch away from the gory details, so that way we can actually ascertain each of these ghosts and how they went out. Amber McLean, probably my personal favorite, mostly because of the whole goth motif. But I love the song. I really wish I can play it. I did so on like on my phone that uploaded on YouTube, which you can check out on the channel. You can subscribe and hit that like button, by the way. That I, lip sync the Amber McLean Amber song, uh, like you will remember my name. Oh, Amber, you will remember. I love Amber, my favorite, and it's like pretty much like she was kind of like the Pied Piper, not to confuse with like R. Kelly here, but she's like the Pied Piper of the olden tales, the leading uh the children to her and absorb their uh worship to give her more power, because it wasn't fully explored, but I imagine that you know uh, she felt like she was ignored or forgotten. She was like a struggling rock star kind of thing, and she obviously should have been. She should have died in like some kind of fire, whether at home or during like a rock concert or something, or at least something that's supposed to be like her first big gig. But a tragedy happened with like a fire somehow, and she died that way. That's why her hair flares up like a flame, and like a player, her name, first name Amber. Uh, she's probably one of my favorite ghosts personally. But if you've watched, I mean, there's other ghosts that you'll see in as subsequent seasons, but as of season one right now, well, at least as a whole, she's not my number one personally. But there's others that like I put up very high tier. But let me know in the comments below. Out of season one, what who's your favorite ghost? But yeah, and crap. There was Point Sidney Poindexter. That one is kind of like that episode with him. You like I said, you can make it a kind of like a tragedy, but they kind of lean it. It didn't lean too hard into it, but you can infer on how this kid died. He probably got bullied to death, literally to death. He grew up in the 50s, was I'm pretty sure bullying was probably rampant, and it's probably kind of grew a little less each generation. But it's like this dude, was the stereotypical. That is a true stereotypical version of like of a nerd, and it's like probably even nerdier than Urkel. That's how far nerdy he is. You know, constantly being like mercilessly harassed and bullied by these like Italian jocks, like they straight out of Greece or something, and so he haunts like this locker that Danny had to take over because his original locker got busted up by a prank, and so his malevolent spirit, you know, worms his way out little by little to mess with people he sees as bullies because he has like a complete vendetta against bullies, which this episode could easily, well, it definitely easily kind of, this is way before the whole bully movement, like anti-bully movement, but uh, it really speaks to the fact that like how bullying can lead to like a lot of kids leading to like insecurities and get like unfortunately school shootings because they get like mercilessly bullied and nobody's doing anything to stop it, no matter what the kid probably try to do, but it seems like no way out kind of situation. Or another worst case scenario, a kid might commit suicide because they've been mercilessly bullied by their peers, and it's like you can really like gain a lot from this particular episode because it's very sad for Poindexter because you cannot, some of these ghosts you can feel for because like Poindexter in particular I feel for because I've been bullied before. I'm pretty sure like a decent amount of people has been bullied at some time or another and it does not feel good, but some gets it worse than more than others. Uh, like to the maybe to the point of Poindexter's like point of view, and like he became a vengeful spirit, and it's like any bully he sees, without any kind of nuance of the complete context of the situation, whoever he sees doing what he deems the bullying, like he went after Danny, who's only going after this his bully because he uses ghost powers to like hey, okay, I had enough of this because this is Jock here. Uh, I forgot this Jock's name that constantly bullies Danny. Uh, he's pretty much like the Flash Thompson uh, of the show. Uh, Dash Baxter. By the way, the school is named Casper High. They really lean, and the town is called Amityville. They really lean hard into the whole ghost motif, which I find charming. Uh, well, you get like a Halloween episode with Fright Night, and which is like a very scary villain because like he's damn near unstoppable until like you figure out to put the sword into a pumpkin because he's like a spirit of Halloween. Because Danny's trying to win a bet against uh, uh, Dash. Uh, it kind of looks like almost like Dash from The Incredibles, but like a teenager because the same square shaped head with the blonde hair. uh, and Mr. Lancer can seem like your typical uh, no nonsense teacher that gives like the main character a hard time without any understanding what's going on around him, and he's playing like almost not to the same level as a joke as uh, Crowler and uh, uh, Fairly Odd Parents, but uh, there is a moment to where it's kind of like he's trying to show Danny who's trying to up his grades while at the same time trying to stop this techno ghost called Technus, uh, uh, because he's failing school or at least one of his classes, and because like he's going off doing his very Spider-Man like he's doing his hero thing, but it's leaving little room for his schoolwork and social life. So it's like he's having a hard time balancing everything. So doing this, after school thing, trying to like study, or at least taking this test, uh, and Lancer thinking like, this kid is like almost seems like he's losing hope on this kid, and then like Danny's finally hits him that like he's trying to teach him something, and then like I need to, I can't be focused too hard. I mean, so much on uh my hero work to the point where I'm ignoring something crucial in my life, which I understand. Like 14-year-old kids don't really care about uh, all this stuff because I think we all know by this point, when this is American school system here, that you know it seems like teachers, or at least this, not the teachers themselves, but it's like the uh, infrastructure of the American educational system seems more uh, prone to just cramming whatever knowledge, at least prior to college, cramming as much knowledge into kids' heads and have them regurgitate it without actually retaining and processing it and using it and that kind of thing, like most other countries would. I'm off on a tangent, but I'm just putting that out here, and it's like it's like you see that played out in rewatching this stuff, this middle school kind of stuff. It's like, man, this is like not like a waste of time, but kind of wish they now that we know better, we should do better and make sure that middle school kids and high school kids are learning trades and other stuff that's actually going to benefit them once they get out of school, whether or not they go to college. Something they can have, the actual tools that they can have as they move on, rather than just stuffing their brains and have them doing this cramming and all this other stuff and having them regurgitate this so they can just, okay, pass, graduate, move on kind of situation. Anywho, uh, uh, you also get this kind of like a ghost bounty hunter that Danny inadvertently created. And what's her name? Because I forgot her uh, name. Um, Crap. What is it? Valerie. And Valerie, I forgot Carrie. I forgot the voice actress's name. She was on A Different World. She was the voice of Susie in Rugrats. I'm forgetting her doggone name. Hold on. What is her doggone name? Uh, 1 second. 1 second. Um, God, what is? 1 second. 1 second. Oh crap. Um, Cree Summer. I knew it started with a C. But first, it was voiced by Valerie Gray. Was first voiced by Gray de Lisle. Uh, then there's like a second time it was like Colleen O'Shanney, who also did a voice for Danny's sister. But then for the rest, it was Cree Summer. Uh, she's pretty much like you know she primarily like was going after Danny Phantom because she believes he was the cause for her father losing his job, and at the same time losing her social status in the because he was like a rich popular kid in just like with like Paulina and Dash. Yeah, they was like all like chummy and like love poking fun at Danny and his friends and other uh who they deem as losers. But it was kind of like a hard thing to watch, which you would think, well, these are teenagers, they wouldn't think this way. But I know a fair bit of like smart teenagers growing up that wouldn't behave this way. But it's like when you see how her supposed friends turned against her so fast, as soon as you know her high society affluent life has been diminished, they quickly like turn their backs on her, which is like, kind of heartbreaking. Like it shows you that could have been a moment where she had some clarification, which I'm pretty sure in the later season she come to realize, like, these people aren't my real friends. They dumped me in the first moment that I wasn't worth much. Uh, but she became like had like a huge vendetta against uh, Danny Phantom. But she get these weaponized gear, which she doesn't know was from Vlad, who's been like had all these machinations of taking down Danny. If he doesn't join him, he can easily just destroy him because ultimately he wants his mother. And he doesn't. It shows like he doesn't really love the mother. He loves the idea of the mother. Pretty much like it's like another thing for his trophy case kind of situation, just to show off. It's just like Doctor Doom with like Sue Storm for quite a long time. Um, yeah, I don't not so much in the past handful of years. Uh, so all these little mini adventures, beating all these different various ghosts. Like I said, the overarching plot with Vlad and his machinations, and he you know been searching for this like skeleton key. Um, 1 second here. Because it's trying to unlock something. I'm blanking on it, but it leads into the next season to further explore that what he was looking for. But during that episode, because the second last episode, he he's trying to go through his own ghost portal, but he didn't change like a filter, like a ghost filter, and it caused like an explosion. It's kind of like a play on what happened with like Ghostbusters, where this dude from like from government officials in New York come and shut down the power, even though he was warned how dangerous it would be. I don't know why there was no safeguards. So if something needs to be turned off, or if there was like a massive power outage or something like that, there's some safeguards to avoid these ghosts from being released in case the mechanism fails. But he shuts it off, and ghost starts flying all everywhere. And this, because like the filter wasn't, changed properly because it has to be changed every 6 months. It caused like a massive explosion at Vlad's place. But then he decides, okay, I don't have time to make a new portal. I'll just go and use Jack's portal. But you need to distract Danny, so he hires these cliche like ghost hunters. One's kind of like this couple is pretty much like a like extreme skater board X game kind of attitude, kind of kids with high tech, kind of suits. But it seems like they kind of like they got skateboards that turn to like weapons and stuff like that. But then there's like a parody on Men in Black. So instead of aliens, it's ghosts, but they're guys in white. And you see like they're playing on Agent J and K. That's pretty damn funny. And then there's another ghost hunter that's a play on Scooby Doo, but it kind of like, like a fusion dance between Daphne and Velma and Fred and Shaggy. And instead of like a dog, they got like a white tiger that's a scaredy cat. They call him Scaredy Cat. I thought that was pretty damn funny. And they all, maybe from the exception of the guys in white, the others are very inept. However, they all make fun of Jack because he seems like the bumbling fool, but he gets his moment where he sees Vlad, who he doesn't know that's supposed to be his like college friend, because like this is all like secret stuff at this point, and he sees like him, because he spent most of the season hunting the Ghost Boy, and they team up with him in order to stop Vlad from breaking into the Ghost Zone, and you see like a moment where Jack, because usually his stuff doesn't work. I think like the wife is like obviously more the brains of the outfit. Technically, he's pretty smart in his own right, but it's just like things go haywire with his stuff while her stuff works just fine. He got these kind of like power gloves where he can actually physically touch a ghost and they can't go intangible on him. And he starts beating the hell out of Vlad. It was almost like very satisfying because like he's been playing such like a goofball for most of the. He's funny, but he's been playing like a goofball for most of the show. And this moment he gets like his time to shine, where it's like, okay, you coming after my family, F this. and he's playing like he's like beating the hell out of. It's just like really shocking. Vlad, the like where is this Jack from? So that's pretty dope. I mean, Danny Phantom's very very good show. I think it's a little bit easier if you want to check out Danny Phantom. Subscribe to Paramount Plus. Like I personally, you know, because I think as far as like a Nickelodeon show that I want to kind of review, it's probably the only one. So that way I don't have to really have to deep dive somewhere else or buy Paramount Plus in order to watch certain things. Because Paramount Plus need to get their act together. They got, their stuff is all the hell mixed up. And they don't organize anything. Because every streaming service, including Disney Plus, are trying to like mimic what Netflix was from the beginning of its creation, where they have everything you need so you can like just look it up, watch it, binge watch it, and you have it at your leisure. There's no even if they don't have it, you can guarantee they'll add it, 6 months to a year down the line. And that's what Paramount Plus needs to do. It's like instead of rebooting classic shows like the Rugrats, just announce, hey, you like all your Nickelodeon shows from like the 90s up until like current day, we have it all on Disney Plus. All the seasons of SpongeBob, all the seasons of Rugrats, classic Rugrats, no reboot crap. Which is, this 3D crappy design. But we got all Rocco's Modern Life. We got all of Hey Arnold, all of Danny Vandal. Like, we got all the stuff. Come on to Paramount Plus. We got it all, and we got new stuff, original content, strictly for Paramount Plus. If you want to check it out, hell, even HBO Max is better than this. But then again, HBO Max got its own problems where they keep slashing shows left and right like it's a freaking fire sale, and everything must go. But it still had better organization than what Perma Plus is doing. So yeah, if you want to check out Danny Phantom because it is a highly recommended show, go ahead and subscribe to Paramount Plus if you really want to check it out. But I just wish that I mean, of course, you can go to Amazon Prime. Then again, because I mentioned pretty much often, I got Disney Plus in a combination of Hulu, uh, Netflix, HBO Max. Well, let's see. Uh, yeah, Disney Plus with combo with Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max. And if I don't find what I really want to see on any of those streaming services, I have Amazon Prime as like a just in case. I can definitely go there and rent or buy what I need to see if I can't find it anywhere else. Because I've been checking out Parks and Recreation because I haven't really seen it before, and I like 6 months ago I started seeing it on my Facebook feed, certain skits, and it seems kind of like, not skits, but it's like moments in episodes that seems pretty funny. So I watched the first 3 seasons, and it's pretty good. Maybe by next week I'll buy off of Amazon Prime the fourth season and check that out. It's like on my own time. It's not something I'll do any review on either, because eventually I have to buy uh, all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine seasons because it was on HBO. I mean, it's on was on Hulu, but for some reason Hulu dropped it. Well, not dropped it, but it's kind of like you can see it there, but it's not available for you to watch, which is fucking weird. I don't know, because they did that to the Mike Tyson TV show too, and they haven't. And this was like a few months ago, like almost like 5 months ago, when this happened, and they never brought it back. So I really want to look it up and see why they took it down, because it make no doggone sense. I love that show. I rewatched it so many times. So I'm probably have to buy off of Amazon Prime so I can, if I want to go back and watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I just, watch it anytime I want because I now have to buy the dang thing off of Amazon Prime, just to reassure that I don't lose it again. But anyway, uh, that was season 1 of Danny Phantom. I was like, yeah, this is pretty much like, you know, you know, Ghost of the Week type of episodes, but the overarching, you know, villain we're dealing with is Vlad Plasmius and his machinations of seizing uh, Jack's wife and uh, controlling Danny in order to make like a power play. Like he's a power hungry. He wants to take over kind of guy. He's very Doctor Doom in that way. But yeah, but by season 2, things are gonna start revving up. So look forward to that. I don't want to make a hard date on when I'll have that ready because I got other movies that I wanted to start watching so I can do some reviews for those. So whenever I'm done with season 2, I'll have that up right away. But I will see you guys a little bit later tonight because I want to start playing some Overwatch because Overwatch 2 will be uh, updated to everybody's stuff by October 4th. I had to buy the Watch Point pack because it has the original thing tied to it for my Xbox Series S. Because on my Xbox One, I had to. There's like a thing they have up there where I can merge accounts. So now I can actually play Overwatch on my Xbox Series X and have my previous stuff that I had over the years there. So I'm looking forward to trying out those 3 new characters for Overwatch 2. So October 4th, that's like a Tuesday. Oh my god, I kind of wish I didn't have to work that day because I couldn't want to spend like the entire day just playing Overwatch 2. So I'm going to have to wait until after work to play it. But anyway, I will see you guys. I'll probably give it like at least 20 or 30 minutes. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let me know what you think of season 1 of Danny Phantom. What was your favorite ghost from the season? And yeah, check out my other videos. I just put up a spoiler review for Hocus Pocus 2 and American Psycho. We're going to jump on Halloween season right now. I have other Halloween movies that I reviewed last year, which you can check out as well. I'm going to start putting in some Thanksgiving stuff for November. It's very light for that because there's not much Thanksgiving type of movies out there for me to review. But I found some. So, look forward to that for November. Then I haven't had the list of Christmas stuff yet, but, I'll start looking towards the end of November. But yeah, I will see you guys next week, probably next Thursday for a couple of movie reviews. Oh, also be doing some comic book reviews, very not Halloween oriented, but in that kind of creep factor type of vein. So look forward to those. There's only like a few.